Hi, I'm Steve Sample with Bama Talk. Don't miss a single episode of Bama Talk Show, available now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app, and on the web at bigbrainsmedia.com.
This is your Weather Extreme video for Sunday, January the 20th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. There's a look at the Gadsden Skycam as we still see a few high cirrus clouds streaming across central Alabama, and I couldn't help but enjoy this shot down at Mobile at the Battleship Park, and just the sunrise coming up there as we look out over the Battleship Alabama. Well, we're dealing with a couple of different fronts. We've got one that's knocking on our door this morning that should be moving through the area this afternoon and into the evening hours. And then behind that will come another reinforcing shot of cold air that's going to produce a pretty chilly morning for Tuesday morning. In the upper atmosphere, of course, we're situated under pretty much a long wave trough position over the eastern third of the country, and there are various and sundry disturbances that are rotating through that flow. Those disturbances basically enhancing and reinforcing the cold air without the benefit of a lot of moisture return. Temperatures are pretty chilly with this system. Look at those values back there in the Dakotas and Minnesota, minus 17 up there at the Canadian border. So very, very chilly at this time of day. Not that cold across central Alabama, fortunately. We got down to about the freezing mark in most locations. A few spots like Fort Payne sitting at 28 this morning, so a little bit chillier over that way. QPF-wise, yesterday we saw we weren't really expecting anything for the next 5 days, but of course now the 5 days has advanced out into Friday, and you can see that the frontal system that should be affecting us Friday primarily should be bringing rain on the order of about a quarter to a half inch, and maybe just a hair more. This is the 06Z GFS model run, and there is the upper air map for tomorrow, 36-hour forecast for midday, noontime on the 21st. And you can see the little disturbances in the flow that are rotating through that enhancing long wave trough position. And of course, that brings the 540 line down into the vicinity of Muscle Shoals approximately. That the disturbances help to just reinforce that cold air on Tuesday. So the 540 line dips even a little bit further south. So look for lows around the lower 20s on Tuesday morning. And we should be fairly chilly on Tuesday for highs as well. When we get into Wednesday, the pattern is beginning to lessen just a little bit and to dampen out. And that's fairly typical for us in the southeastern U.S. So we see the 540 line and the atmosphere beginning to modify the 540 line moving up into Kentucky. And we continue to flatten out on Thursday. And on Thursday, we see the next significant disturbance coming through the Dakotas. And at the surface, we're going to see the development of a surface low in the vicinity of Oklahoma. By Friday, that trough has dropped in nicely through the mid-Mississippi River Valley. And, of course, that should significantly enhance the surface low and take it up northeastward into the mid-Atlantic states. Now, there's a little bit of model differences here. Now, the GFS dragging the front down into the area and showing about, a half to 3/4 of an inch of rain, which I think a half inch is probably a pretty good value. But the European, a little less aggressive. Now, position is excellent. Both of them pretty much have a low up over the mid-Atlantic states. They pretty much drag a front through central Alabama on Friday, but the rainfall amounts with the European just a hair less than what the GFS, but they're still not terribly different. But also notice the 540 line is just a little bit into the precipitation, so the moisture may not go out quite as quick. So just quickly taking a look at the 850 millibar temperatures, and indeed you can see that the 850 temperatures will get pretty chilly, so it's a possibility that Friday we might see the precipitation end with a few snow flurries or a few snow showers. But there's a small window of opportunity for that, as is typically the case across the southeastern U.S. We get into Saturday, and that significant trough advances by, but we're under fairly good northwesterly flow, so that means that we should stay pretty chilly. You see the 540 line stretching from about Muscle Shoals down to Anniston or so. And then as we get out to Sunday, the pattern flattens once again. We begin to warm up somewhat and recover from the chilly air. But we are seeing little disturbances move through, so it may be that we'll be watching for some clouds. Now, extending the forecast out, looks like the next really big weather maker for us after the one coming up this coming Friday and Saturday will be one around Tuesday and Wednesday, the 29th and 30th of January. In the upper air pattern, the forecast from the GFS suggesting a fairly strong shortwave trough that's moving through the flow there over Kansas and Oklahoma and into the Red River Valley. That will be responsible for a very wet pattern over the southeastern U.S. The pattern does flatten out somewhat. We do go chilly after that, but then we begin to flatten out by the 4th of February so that we recover once again in typical southeastern fashion. Well, thanks for tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. James Spann should be back with the next edition first thing Monday morning. In the meantime, I hope that your Sunday is a good one, and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
in back-to-back ratings periods.
More people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.